Haha. Oh, Twitch chat. I thought we were past this. Twitch chat. Oh, what? Hello. Hello. It's kind of weird. I push my chair all the way down so I can have a better kind of a knee surface to type on. But yeah. Hi. Hi. Welcome back to the Weird Stream, C Stream, where we will be going through the C++ primer book, learning C++ as we go. We just got done with some iterative statements, and we wrote a teeny tiny program to analyze the input of a couple of vectors, see if they're the same. Declaration. Okay. I'm just trying to find where we were. Oh yeah, we did that. Exercise 5.17. But those exercises are directly in the middle of the ranged for statement explanation, which is fantastic. Got my big old cup of coffee. Oh, that's bitter. Wow, did not expect that. So I guess before we start, I'll just go through what we wrote as a program last week to refresh my brain, to refresh your brains too, because this is horrible code apparently. I just looked at it before I started the stream. I'm not confident this is the best way to go about this. So yeah, we have got the initialization of two int vectors. We got a couple of we got some definitions of some int vectors. We got some initializations down here to test the program with, and they all worked fine. And we got a bool is prefix, just spelled horribly wrong. Didn't bother to change. That's just the name of it now. Excuse me, my nose is doing a thing. Anyway, so if int dot size is greater than or equal to vint2.size. So if the size of the int vector 1 is bigger than the length of the int vector 2, we're going to do, or equal to, we're going to do this. We're going to consider vector 2 first. We're going to compare vector 1 against vector 2. And vice versa, it's just the same code down here. You did a poopy. That's an error message. If it gets to this point, it's an error message. Yes. And in the comparison, we're going to create ourselves a for loop. We're going to have an int to keep track of the incrementing. We're going to have that less than the size of the second vector. We're going to increment it. Excuse me. If the number in int vector 2 does not equal the number in vector 1 at index I, we're going to break that, and we're going to end up here, and it will look at the value of is prefix, and if is prefix else cout. So if we get to this point and it's broken, it will come here, because prefix will not be set to 1, it will be set to 0, and it will print out to the console vint2 don't prefixes vint1, sad face. But if the numbers line up, we'll get to here, and it will check to see if the number in vint2 is equal to the number in vint1, which is fine. That's really kind of a superfluous check because we do this first. But it also checks to see if the index plus 1 is the same as the size of vint2, the smaller of the two vectors. And if it is, we'll set is prefixed to 1. We will break, although at this point it would probably break anyway, because I would be incremented at the end of this to be larger than vint2, so it would probably just end. And then because is prefix has been set by that function, it will console out vint2 prefixes vint1, smiley face. It's the same code for the other way, it just compares them the other way around because vint1 would be smaller. This is really, really horrible to use a mouse with, right? There's no armrest. That's better. And if it gets to the end of this, if it gets to the point where vint1 is neither greater than or equal to vint2, nor is it less than vint2, like if there's only one vector, or if there's a big error or something, it will console out to you did a poopy. Anyway, that was what we wrote last week, and we just gonna comment that out. Can you use the keyboard down here, which I can't even frickin' see? For God's sake. Well, I appreciate you gusto there, buddy, but I just wanted to get rid of the carriage return. Thank you. Save, and we can continue with the learning experience. So the ranged for loop declaration defines a variable. Must be possible to convert each element of the sequence to the variable's type. What? The easiest way to ensure that types match is to use the auto type specifier. Yes. If you want to write to elements in sequence, the loop variable must be a reference type. Okay, right, okay, here we go. A big explanation, something that I was struggling with like 20 weeks ago. We got auto and R V for each element in B. R star equals 2, double the value of each element in B. So, yeah. The range variable must be a reference so we can write to the elements. The for header declares the loop variable R associated with V. We use auto to let the compiler infer the correct type for R because we want to change the value inside the elements of the elements in V. We declare R as a reference. Okay. When we assign R inside the loop, that assignment changes the element to which R is bound. Range for is defined in terms of the equivalent traditional for. For auto beg v.begin, comma, end equals v.end. Beg does not equal end plus plus beg. Auto and R equals star beg. R star equals multiplied equals 2. Okay. So if you use a reference in the declaration of the for loop for the iterator, this is some real bitter coffee, man. You can use the regular R to change do while. Hey, do while. What's going on, dog? Haven't seen you in ages. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So it's a code block. I mean, the do while statement is a code block that happens, that executes while the while condition is true. Variables in the while condition have to be initialized outside of the do code block, of course. But this the code that they have like not a loop. Well, not a loop in the loop sense, not an iterative loop, but a loop, a code block loop, which just does a function, does a thing. They have it asking the user for input, has taken the input, has multiplied the input together. no adding the put together, and then asking if they want to go again. And if they type yes, they get to go again. If they type no, they don't get to go again. That's cool. Okay, we're on to the exercises. 5.4.4 exercises. Exercise 5.18. Explain each of the following loops, correct any problems you detect. Do int v1 v2 c out. Please enter two numbers to sum. C in v1 v2. C out sum is v1 plus v2 and line while c in. So this is going to infinite loop. There is no escape case for this loop, which may be a problem. But this is going to ask the user for two ints. It's going to add the ints together and tell them what the sum is, while console in is true, which is while there's data to be read. So I guess if they escape their data or they reach end of file, it's not really a cin thing, is, but that's mostly fine. Do while int ival is get response. Wow, that's wrong. So that they're declaring and initializing an int in the while thing, which is a no. Can't do that. You need that outside the do loop. You need that right at the top if you are initializing it. So you need int ival right at the top, and then if you want to compare ival to get response, you need two equal signs. Holy shit, I thought we were past this. Do int ival equals get response. Oh, sorry, int ival is get response, while ival is also not good because you cannot have a declaration or an initialization. You can have a declaration. You have an initialization inside the loop. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you'll be able to use that. You can't have a declaration of a variable that you're going to use in the condition inside the do loop. Oh my god. Oh, my hands are so dry, it's making me You ever get that? Where your hands are just dry and you not a good feeling. Okay. Exercise 5.19. Write a program that uses a do while loop to repeatedly request two strings from the user and report which string is less than the other. Okay. Okay, we can do this. Do while loop, repetitively request two strings from the user and report which string is less than the other. Okay. Okay. What am I doing? So we got ourselves some strings to hold the data in. How are they doing? How are they doing this? The beef. How are they doing the beef? Let me just scroll back up and look at the example going on. Okay. Ooh. I don't know what was going on there. Very interesting. Is valid, not haha. Using raw data is conditional. Boom. Boom, boom. That's probably not gonna work, is it? Do I have to put it in like that? Like this? Mm. If bool. No. You don't wanna. You don't wanna do that? Okay. What am I even trying to do here? I'm sure it is valid. Is helpful function in Unreal Engine, not helpful function in C++. What the fuck? Okay. Are you fucking kidding me? What am I trying to do? Hey, a tree! I'm trying to check if these two strings are valid. I think we do for null you need a library. Oh. Okay. You think? I don't think. I think null is an integral type, but it doesn't want to check. It doesn't want to check null against some strings, which I understand. That's fine. No. It's me definitely. I'm trying to bring it out of my brain. How yeah. Size T standard string size const. You know what? Let's just not do any error checking, okay? It's stupid. What am I doing? These are C++ strings, so you can do weird stuff like this, right? You can just... Woo! So this probably isn't gonna do what I think it's gonna do, but it's okay. It's the learning process. Ooh. Okay, let's just run this, I guess. See what happens. There were errors. No. Syntax error. It means I've missed out a fucking semicolon somewhere, isn't it? Oh! Oh my god! Oh! Whole life flashed before my eyes there. Jesus Christ, my hand caught the coffee cup. There you go. You have a do and you need to do what? Yeah. Yeah. The brain. Hey, what do you know? It works. Get out of here. Oh, fuck. It doesn't work. So, welcome to the fuck. Then you just need to add a string.size. Is that string.size brackets variable in the brackets, or is that variable name dot size brackets? think it's yeah. Thank you. Thank you. In fact. But that's the thing. Wasn't there a whole thing? Wasn't there a whole thing about C++? C++ strings being able to be compared for. Oh, is it equality? Is it equality? Is it this that might actually work? Same. What was the actual question that we were asked? Write a program to read a sequence of strings from the standard input until either the same word occurs twice in succession or nope. Oh, that we have gone too far. I'm going down. Whoopsie. Explain each of the following loops. Write a program that uses do while to repeatedly ask two strings from the user and report which string is less than the other. Don't know, just Google it. I always use length. Is there even any difference between size and length? Do they do the same thing? Nope, same thing. It's been a while since I used C++. Oh, sacrilege. No, there's a whole big thing in this book. It was like, C++, you can compare strings, you can do things, because in C, in straight C, if you do like, if string is equal to string, it's like it's always true or it's always false or something because it's a pointer and some fuck goes on. But in C++, strings aren't pointers anymore. They're objects and they have different properties. C++ strings are different to C strings. C string is an array of char stars, so it's a pointer. Which is why you couldn't compare them in C. You had to iterate over both strings and check each character value to each character value to see if they were doing the things. We'll call this same size. Well, we'll just change the semantics of the output, and I'm sure we'll just glaze over the problem completely. Fantastic. I mean, it works as good as we can expect it to, really. Thanks for the help. Thanks for the little the tip off there. Great little I could have sworn there was something about that though. I'm gonna have to look at that again. I'm gonna have to go back through the manuals, read the ancient manuscripts. Okay, we're moving on to a new section now. I don't know if I should really continue. I've only been going for 37 minutes, but boy howdy, that was a long 37 minutes, I'm gonna tell you that. Thank you. You're going through C++ Primer. I'm going through C++ Primer. Only don't get the while cin. Can you cancel the while with an empty enter? That's not what the program we were asked to make would be though. Like, it says continually. So I'm pretty sure you could escape that with using the escape character and it would just end. Because that's while cin, right? And if you escape a cin, it's gonna freak out, terminate. I hope that's how we were doing a lot of the input way back, like up here. It was a whole bunch of while cin word, and then you'd have to escape that with Control Z, because we're on Windows, not Linux. Linux has got a special escape. Fuck off. I hate this. I don't want to expand code blocks. I just want to take white space. For Christ's sake, Visual Studio. Getting real on my nerves there, buddy. Just every time it happens, and it happens every time. You all doing okay today? Just, you know, sometimes coding in C just makes me real angry. Just like everything else in life. Oh, I've got to make a knife handle after this. Oh, I'm dreading that. Oh, it's going to be horrible. You ever made a knife handle before? Like, I mean, some knife handles are easier to make than others. I don't want to break, like, the continuity if you don't want to talk about this. I don't understand. But, so if you have, like, a sandwich style handle, a full tang construction of knife where the entire profile of the knife is embodied within the kind of the core steel layer, and the handle is just kind of sandwiched over the top. It's real easy because you just got to get two slabs that are roughly flat, stick some glue on them, stick some pins through them, and suck them all together. Real easy. And one of the only reasons they didn't do this way back when in the medieval times is because steel was expensive, and the less steel you could use on any given item, better. But it's a better construction method for knives. It makes them stronger because there's more integral body steel to the knife. There's more working. The tool structure is intensified, and the process of putting the thing together is a lot easier because you don't have to line up holes. You don't have to file out real finicky areas by hand to make them fit perfectly or anything like that. You just stick it together and grind it smooth, basically. The only part that you have to watch is the bolster. But I've got this hidden tang thing here, so it's a little. So you get like the body, the blade of the knife is fine, looks like a regular knife, but then you have this little rat tail off the end, which you're meant to jam into a piece of wood, which has got a hole in it. I'm not going to be doing wood. I'm going to be doing an epoxy cast because it's slightly easier. But I will put a brass bolster on the front, which requires a keyway cut into it. And if you've ever cut a square hole in any material by hand, you know what a pain that is. Just try it one day, just for fun. Get like a centimeter thick piece of brass, drill a hole in it, and then file it square. Not even asking you to file it rectangular, just square, and it'll take you all day. Trust me. Anyway, we're doing 5.5 jump statements. Which is continue, go to, return, and break. Oh god. I used these in a program when I was doing CS50X. And well, the program worked, but oh god, Christ, it's just Jesus, what was that noise? Anyway, it was just the messiest. But you should not teach me that these exist, because I'm just gonna be like, well, if that, go to that. Fuck you. And I was just basically using it to escape these horrible loops. And yeah. Lesson was not learned. The program ran fine. It did what it intended to do. But can you agree with me that the go-to is not a good way to escape out of a loop? Just somebody, anybody out there, tell me. The break statement terminates the nearest enclosing while, do while, for, or switch statement. Oh. Hold on. Yeah, for. Okay. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. That's good. Did that subconsciously. Break can appear only within an iteration statement or a switch statement. Excuse me, including inside statements or blocks nested inside such loops. A break affects only the nearest enclosing loop or switch. Great. It's fantastic. String buff or cin buff and not buff.empty switch buff 0 case dash. Process up to the first blank. For auto, it equals buff.begin plus 1. It does not equal buff.end plus plus it if it equals space break. Okay. I know how to use break. I don't know why I'm really going through this in a big detail. But they've got a bit of code which reads a string and then it stops reading the string when it hits a space. Great. Fantastic code. What you gonna do with that much? Bro. It's just, oh, you want to read the first sentence of a text block. Great. The first word, sorry, of a text block. Break labeled number 1 terminates the for loop. It follows the hyphen case. Break leaves the switch statement and switch, and the switch break number 2 transfers control here and well. Okay, cool. Terminate the processing for the current case, blah 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 blah. Follow the for, blah blah, additional code, blah blah, hyphen the blah. Break completes the section, blah. Break label number 2, blah. The continue statement terminates the current iteration of the nearest enclosing loop and immediately begins the next iteration. Ah, that's cool. That could be useful. I'm seeing a use for the continue. Can't give you a case right now, but that's useful. That's got to be useful. Surely that's got to be useful. Like, yeah. So I watched a video about branchless programming yesterday. Literally, or was it yesterday? Or was it the day before yesterday? I think it was the day before yesterday. But dude, branchless programming, wow. Wow. That's cool, man. Continue interrupts the current iteration. Execution stays inside the loop. In the case of a while or do while, execution continues by evaluating the condition. In a for loop, execution continues at the expression inside the for header. In a range for loop, execution continues by initializing the control variable from the next element in the sequence. Okay. So it just moves on to the next whatever it was doing. If buff 0 does not equal underscore continue, get another input. The go-to statement. There's an exercise here. Exercises section 5.5.2, 5.21. Revise the program from exercise 5.5.1, page 191. Looks only for duplicated words that start with an uppercase letter. That is going to be in here. This is not going to be in here. This is going to be in here. It's not going to be in here. It's going to be in here. Where the fuck did I write this? Invalid letter grade. Iterative. Ah, word and count. Here we go. Struct word and count. Standard string word int count. Vector word and count. Vector word and count. Vector string words. String holder. String input. So we're only looking for things. Wait. So it only looks for duplicated words that start with an uppercase letter. What the fuck is this even doing? For auto and C input, C equals 2 upper C. If exclamation mark is blank C and is punched C, holder plus equals C. Else, if holder does not equal blank, words.pushback holder, holder equals blank. Fantastic. What the hell was I writing when I did this? What was I even thinking? Int wax size equals words.size for int I equals 0. I is less than wax size I plus plus. If I is equal to wax size minus 1 break. Else if words I equals words I plus 1 auto finder equals standard find if vect and count topic. I don't think the guy who told me how to write this or to write this into my program followed me, so I can't call him out on this, but what the fuck is going on here? Auto find equals standard find if vect and count dot begin, vect and count dot end, and word and count const and a return a word equals words I. Jesus Christ. I can't remember what this does. I mean, I know what it was doing. If words I is equal to words I plus 1, I mean, you just put a case in there to see if there was a capital letter at the start. It's nothing. I'm not doing that. Fuck out of here. I'm running out of time anyway. I'm only meant to do an hour. Did you use pseudocode, or did you just write down what you even want to program? Do I use pseudocode? Do I use pseudocode, or just write down what you even want to program? Well, for a lot of things, like iterative stuff and stuff like that, I don't really see the point in going through pseudocode because it's fairly baseline programming. And if I know what I want to iterate over, I just put an iterator over it. It's fairly easy. The only time I use pseudocode is if, I mean, I guess if I was gonna rewrite that program that I just showed you, I'd probably use pseudocode for this again. If I did that again, I did that on stream and it took 2 hours to write that tiny little bit of code. Yeah, never again. Pseudocode is great for maybe larger things which maybe have to include functions. But for stuff like this, it's like, why bother? We know what we're doing. The pseudocode and the code are practically identical, you know. But yes, I do occasionally use pseudocode. No, I do not write it down in here. If I was going to do pseudocode, I would write it down on a notepad with my hand with a pen, because it's a waste of screen space to have it in front of me. In my opinion, I'm fully aware that people like pseudocode and people will want to engage with pseudocode. I'm not a professional software developer. I am not by any means good at coding, and perhaps that's a reflection on how much I use pseudocode. So I would not recommend that you take my advice on any of these videos. This is essentially entertainment. This is like Big Brother or I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. You come here to watch people who don't know what they're doing do asinine stuff. There you go. Having said that, if people do learn stuff by coming to these streams and coming to these VODs, that's also great. And you know, a lot of people on YouTube seem to think that these are extremely helpful videos. And again, last week on the VOD, I posted about 8 links to things which are actual educational resources, which are free, which are much better than me, which I would urge you to check out if you need help learning C, learning C++, learning Java, learning C#, learning computer programming, learning Unreal. Those resources are better than me, but you know, if you learn something from this, that's great too. But just make sure you are learning stuff and you're not just learning my mistakes. It would be a terrible thing if I unleashed a wave of programmers onto the world which were using go-tos instead of actual proper code. God. 5.5.3, the go-to statement. The go-to statement provides an unconditional jump from the go-to to another statement in the same function. Yes, that's right. When you hit a go-to, it takes the program and it says, I don't care what the fuck you're doing. You go to this bit of code now and you do that instead. And it is just... I had these real weird nested infinite loops. I don't know what I was doing with them. I can't remember what they were for. I think I was doing it was the photo manipulation program where you had to iterate and basically make a bitmap twice as large as it was. I've just realized that they're called bitmap. It is a map, but never mind. Anyway, but I had a bunch of loops which basically wouldn't ever terminate until they hit an edge case, and the edge case didn't break. It did a go-to, which jumped ahead because I had like loops which weren't nested, which would activate under different conditions. But the go-to just escapes from like the top loop or the second loop to the next bit of code, and it was just, oh god, fucking don't do that, mate. It's so bad. The syntactic form of a go-to statement is go-to label, where label is an identifier that identifies the statement. A labeled statement is a statement that is preceded by an identifier followed by a colon. End return. Labeled statement may be the target of a goto. So I will type this on the screen because I think gotos are hilarious. So you can be like, did I fucking do it wrong? No, that's fine. And then you can have like you can do dangerous stuff like this, like so this won't print anything to the console because we have a goto. Theoretically. Oh, there were errors. Why were there errors? What's going on? Ah. There were errors. I'm sorry. And there's... I just want you to be over there. Sorry. There were errors. There are no errors anymore. There you go. Returns 1. But if we were to get rid of that, you're gonna have a bad time. Anyway, that's the goto statement. I hope you had fun. I had fun. That was hilarious. As with a switch statement, a goto statement cannot transfer control from a point where an initialized variable is out of scope to a point where that variable is in scope. Oh, correct. So you can't go into a code block, but you can come out of a code block. Wait, no. No, you can't go out of a code. What the fuck? As you goto cannot transfer control from a point where an initialized variable is out of scope to a point where that variable is in scope. Yes. So you can come out of a code block, but you can't go into a code block. So if you have an if statement which has a variable inside it, you cannot put a goto. You can't put a goto label inside that loop. You can put a goto label outside that loop and have the goto inside the loop. That's fine. Yeah. Which is exactly how I was using it previously. But again, I'm pretty sure using a whole bunch of gotos and a whole bunch of labeled code is probably bad for code legibility, if not code performance. The guy who was talking about branchless programming said that you should look at your disassembly, the ungarbled English version of the assembly code, which is basically a whole bunch of bit operations. To check if your compiler's working for you or against you. And I'm sure if we compiled this, which we have done like 4 times now, and then we looked at that somehow, I don't know how you do that, but I'm sure you could somehow. Maybe there's a debugger tool that we can use for that one day. A backward jump over an initialized variable definition is okay. Oh god, oh, what is that? Jesus Christ. No. Begin int sz equals get size bracket. If sz is less than or equal to 0, go to begin. That doesn't seem like good code to me. I mean, functional apparently, but that's an infinite loop going on right there. And you've made an infinite loop without actually any loop grammar. You're using a goto underneath the flag, and the flag is at the top, and that's just... I don't have faith. I don't have faith in this. But at the same time, you'd want to put that begin above anywhere where you could correct SC being get size and get size being less than or equal to 0, because if you put it just like that, where you are initializing it and right, okay, if you're putting your begin there right above the initialization, there's no way it's ever going to change from being the value that it is. Also, get size what? Anyway, SC is destroyed when the goto executes. It's defined and initialized in new when the control passes back to its definition after the jump back to begin. Exercise section 5.5.3. Exercise 5.22. The last example of the section jump back to begin could be better written using a loop. Rewrite the code to eliminate the goto. Okay. Now we got this. Now we got. I hate you. I hate you. You were the chosen one, Anakin. There you go. There's your prequel for the day. That's what we're doing. We're beginning. I guess we do a do while. No, we won't do a do while. We'll do a do while. Sure, why not? We'll do a do while. But it suffers from the same thing. It suffers from the same problem. Where SZ, the initialization of SZ, is not in a position where it will change ever. And it's bad code. I don't want you to do this. I'm gonna. I mean, is there a way you could do that? So the reason we don't want a while loop, I thought maybe we could use a while loop and it would be a bit more loopy. But the reason you don't want a while loop is because we're not initializing SZ here. We're initializing SZ in the loop. Which means while SZ is less than or equal to 0 is going to throw up an error because SZ is going to be null to begin with. That might not work out too good for you. That might just skip your entire loop. You won't get initialization. Unless, of course, you initialized it outside the loop and then use the loop to check the value, maybe. Also, get size is an undefined function, which isn't in this, so you can't even compile and run this, which is fantastic. Thank you, book. Oh, brain, big old brain. It's still undefined. It's fine. I don't even care. That is it for today. We've done our 1 hour of C++ for the week. Save that. Next week we will be moving on to 5.6, the try block and exception handling, which is extremely important. It's something that no one on CS50 covered in the 12 weeks I was doing it for, or whatever. I'm sure it gets covered in the later weeks, but it's a very important thing for handling errors and exceptions, and it's actually covered really early on in the what's that program? SolarLearn. It's covered really on in the SolarLearn Python tutorial. If you want to learn it for Python, It's fine. All coding languages are pretty much identical these days. They just use slightly different words and slightly different grammar, but the main meat of them, they're all the same. Anyway, thank you very much for coming to the live video. If you came to watch the live video, thanks for coming to watch the video on demand. If you came to watch the video on demand, I will be doing knife handle stuff for a couple of minutes, and then I will be doing some Unreal later in the evening. And as always, I will see you in the next episode.